From CBS News headquarters in New York, this is the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite and Dean Braylis in Damascus, Syria, John Lawrence in the Golan Heights, Bob Simon in London, Bert Quint in the Sinai, Bob Allison in Cairo, Tom Fenton in Tel Aviv, Eric Severide in Washington, and Daniel Shore in Washington.
Good evening. The Middle East fighting is worse, on the ground, in the air, and on the sea. And tonight there are fewer claims of victory from either side, more predictions of an extended war, certainly longer than that one-week affair in '67. Apparently the casualties and material losses are far greater than then. An Israeli military spokesman said, "The struggle facing us will not be an easy one." And he announced officially what had long been obvious, that Israel had abandoned its defense line along the entire east bank of the Suez Canal. The spokesman warned against soaring visions of elegant and rapid conquest of the Arabs. The diplomats at the UN and in the world capitals seem to be making no headway toward an early peace. Perhaps today's most significant event was an Israeli air raid on the Syrian capital of Damascus, in which many Russians were casualties, as Dean Braylis reports.
At noon today, the first wave of Israeli jets attacked Damascus. I saw 4 American-made Phantoms come in low over the city of about 2 million people. There was no warning. The Israeli warplanes dropped high explosive bombs. They strafed and they rocketed. A second wave followed. It took the bombing runs about 3 minutes. In a half hour, it was over. The damage, the pain, was to civilian targets. The Israeli air attack destroyed the Russian embassy. A Soviet diplomat told me at least 30 Russians were killed, including Russian women and children. The Russian diplomat said it was not a mistake. He said the Israelis meant to bomb the Russians. There were many Syrian residential areas also hit by the Israeli bombs. They were near the Russian embassy. The casualties among the Syrian civilians run into the hundreds. About the only conceivable military target was the Syrian Ministry of Defense. It was not hit. Dean Braylis, CBS News, Damascus.
Early today, Israeli sources said the Damascus targets were the Defense Ministry and Radio Damascus. Hours after the Damascus raid, Israel still had no comment. About 10 buildings in Damascus that were not announced Israeli targets were hit in today's attack. United Nations officials say a member of the UN observer team, a Norwegian officer, was killed in his home along with his wife and daughter. The Polish embassy also was damaged, and relatives of the ambassadors from Poland and India were said to have been badly wounded. Israeli jets struck also today at homes about 100 miles north of Damascus. They said that they hit refineries and power plants. The raids into Syria, according to Israel, were in retaliation for long-range attacks on Israeli settlements near Nazareth, way down here, by 1,100-pound Russian-built rockets that have a 44-mile range. Syria warned that Israel will have to bear the consequences for today's attacks. Other Israeli jets struck an Arab radar site on Mount Hermon in Lebanon, right up here on the border, an installation which Israel said gave the Arabs a look at much of Israel by radar, of course. Other Israeli jets flew combat missions over Egypt, hitting military bases north of Cairo and east of Cairo. In the day's naval engagement, here in the Mediterranean, off the Nile Delta, each side claimed victory. Israel claims to have sunk 3 Egyptian missile boats. Egypt says that it sank 9 Israeli launches. And on the ground, from still confused and spotty dispatches, we can begin to draw a picture of what seems to be happening and where. Let's take a close-up look at that Golan Heights area. The Assyrians seem to have attacked primarily on with three spearheads. One down here toward El Kenitra, right across the 67 peace line. Another here at Kushni, also just across the line, and another spearhead here at Rafid. Apparently the Israelis stopped them at both of these points and drove them back at those points, as nearly as we know. But the main fighting seems to be raging now around El Quinitra. Now, along the entire front, according to Bob Schieffer at the Pentagon sources